Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So, the Democrats have come up with a new plan on how to stop Trump's cabinet picks and then also their operations during his administration. So, the person who came up with this was a representative from North Carolina, a Democrat named Wiley Nichols. And I will let you hear what he has to say verbatim.
Last week stung. As Democrats, we simply failed to convince the American people we have better ideas to solve their problems. But we do. Now we need to dust ourselves off and get ready to fight. We can't let Donald Trump's extreme MAGA agenda go unanswered or unopposed. Zone defense isn't going to work. We're going to have to go man on man. So here's an idea for how to organize our opposition. We need to borrow from our British friends and appoint a shadow cabinet to fight back against the worst abuses of a second Trump administration. The special relationship between the United States and Britain extends not just to our strength on the global stage, but also to our shared commitment to democracy. Across the Atlantic, the British have something we don't, a team from the opposition that mirrors the government's own cabinet members. They watch the cabinet closely, publicly challenging, scrutinizing, and offering new ideas. It's another form of checks and balances, a quiet guardrail that holds those in power accountable.
So basically, they want to create what he's calling a shadow cabinet, which is already not great, right, in terms of calling it a shadow. So he wants to basically fill this cabinet with unelected, decided officials who will role play as if they were in charge. And they will be a direct counter to whatever pick Trump makes. So for the Secretary of State, you'll have a fake Secretary of State who will, every time there's a press conference or a decision that's made by the real Secretary of State, somebody will come out and make an opposite statement for the Democrats on what they would have done in that scenario. This is just a weird and ridiculous concept. I can't think of a more divisive concept, really, in the government. You're taking a complete opposite stance to whatever the elected officials have decided. So people elected Trump massively, right? Trump won by a massive margin, both in the popular vote and the Electoral College. And what the Democrats are saying now is that the American people are so stupid that the person they elected can't do the job, right? They're dumb. They made the wrong choice. And therefore, for the next 4 years, every decision that's made by the government that you elected, we are going to come out and tell you how stupid you are and how we would have done something different. And somehow this is still the party of unity. It's almost disturbing, right? Because you're creating two separate governments, essentially. Yes, the latter doesn't have any power, any meaningful power, but when you have a government that goes around and says, we want the complete opposite of what the other side is doing, we refuse to listen to anything the elected officials have to say, we want to impede them at every step. They've said that we're going to go out of our way. We don't even know what they're going to do yet, but we're going to stop them from whatever they want to do. How can you have a unified government that does that? So this is something that should not happen. And it's something that could happen because it doesn't need any elections. It doesn't need any real offices to be held. It's basically all role playing, but it's a type of role playing that would be very harmful to the country because basically you're saying that the American people made the wrong choice. They don't know what's good for them. And so therefore you're going to create this body that is going to be an active resistance to everything the elected officials try to do on behalf of the American people. And I don't see this ending well. I don't see this being a unifying force. I don't think this is really going to go anywhere. He named a bunch of people. Who knows if they actually signed up for this? I think it's just kind of a clown show. Like, it would just be a clown show. I think a lot of the more serious Democrats, well, there's the ones who are more serious, like Bernie Sanders, is not going to get involved with something like this because he understands that this would be incredibly damaging to the country. And then you have the establishment Democrats that understand that this is just a bad look. Like, this is not something that is going to do them any favors. Remember, they lost the election for a number of reasons, and one of them was how divisive they were being, how much they were going after their political opponents, wanting censorship. That was a huge part of it. Wanting to, investigate their political opponents. And so when you even when you get that message from the American people, you still decide that, no, you're going to keep doing the same things and you're going to go out of your way to resist anything the opposition has to say, to the point of creating a fake role-playing government to talk about how you would do things so much better. So it's really weird. I don't like this concept whatsoever, obviously, and I think it's not going to be adopted for the reasons I said. I don't think many Democrats who are serious are going to want to get on board with this if they actually think about the ramifications of what this could lead to, because it could lead to a split government, right? And he's pointing to England as like an example of a well-run government, even though England is a total disaster. It's a bureaucratic nightmare state where people have no freedom of speech, where the government has the most overbearing laws probably almost anywhere on the planet. There are some countries that are worse, clearly, but in terms of the Western world, England is probably the worst aggressor of just overstepping their bounds as what the government should be doing, harming people more than helping them. And to point to England and say like, oh, this is a well-run system is just kind of a joke. Like, we don't want to be like England, really. Like, if their argument is we want to be like England, that should be the biggest red flag in the world. We do not want to be like England in any way, shape, or form. So this is all talk right now. We'll see if he actually wants to go through with it. I think they're just kind of throwing a temper tantrum because I don't know what to do after the election. They don't have any mechanisms to stop Trump anymore or his administration. And you may not like what Trump does, but a lot of people do, clearly. And the majority of people voted for him to, as you know, this is the promises we want you to keep, Trump. We want you to close the border. We want you to fix the economy. We want you to root out corruption in the government. And so Trump's planning on doing that. He's putting people in place to do just those things. And right now, they don't have any mechanisms of control. They don't have the Senate. They don't have the House. They don't have the presidency. They don't have the Supreme Court. They don't even have the mainstream media anymore. The mainstream media has just completely been gutted. They're even like going to fire hundreds or thousands of people because they understand that they're in a very precarious situation. Nobody's watching anymore. Nobody trusts them. There's no legitimacy to the legacy media. So all the Democrats' mechanisms of control that they've had, or at least if they had one to slow down the process, they don't have any, though. They don't have anything that can stop Trump, really. So Trump has been given license by the American people, and also the Senate and the House. We've seen that they've been given license by the American people to kind of go crazy and do the things that they've demanded them to do. That's why they elected them, is to do these things. And so the Democrats want to impede them, but they don't have any mechanism. So this is what the solution is, right? Fake government, role play as if you were the real government, try to impede them in ways that may not actually be legal or reasonable, just because they hate Trump that much. And so a lot of it is just posturing, peacocking, kind of showing that, oh, we're going to stand up to Trump, even though they really don't have a way to do it. And the majority of people don't want them to do it. They don't want them to stand up to Trump. So disaster. All in all, that's kind of my thought on this. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think any serious Democrats are going to pick this up. The media probably will run with it, but I think you will get more reasonable Democrats saying that this is not something that's going to unify the country, and it's not something that's going to make them look very good coming out of a humiliating defeat in the election. So I'm going to keep watching. I'll keep you guys posted if I hear anything else about this or any more schemes on how they want to try to interfere with Trump. But I appreciate you watching. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. And thank you for watching.